I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
Ask yourself, what if the dawn of artificial intelligence emerges not as an ally, but as a source of insidious racism?
Internet giant Google has apologized for what can be called a racist blunder. The company's automatic image recognition feature in its photo application identified two black persons as gorillas.
A sinister possibility whispers through the corridors of our digital evolution, a technology tainted by the grim specter of prejudice. What if, against all our hopes and aspirations, AI emerged not as a force for good, but as a harbinger of discrimination? It's time to face the uncomfortable truth. What if the machines we created turn out to be impartial, fair, and just, turned against us?
OpenAI unveiled the Chat GPT.
Has been in circulation for just 3 months, and already an estimated 100 million people have used it.
How many folks in the audience have used Chat GPT?
The Wrongful Arrests, Robert Williams, The Watch Robbery. Our journey begins with an incident that sent shockwaves through the tech world. Robert Williams, a black man, found himself behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, all thanks to an AI system. Williams was arrested in January 2020 on suspicion of stealing 5 watches worth $3,600 because he was incorrectly identified using facial recognition software from a Shinola store in Detroit. He was one of the first people to be falsely accused of using software that is increasingly used by police. When Williams was arrested, he told his wife Melissa and his daughters Julia and Rosie that he would return soon, but police detained him for 30 hours. Julia watched the video of her father being arrested in her front yard, and she continued to cry. Just because of an error of AI, Julia suffered from depression. Williams said he and his wife had considered taking Julia to see a therapist, fearing his arrest was still fresh in her mind. Her parents say Julia still worries that the police will take her father away again. Her parents wonder how much this experience affected them. Before we move forward, hands up. Have you subscribed to our channel or not? Please do, and also leave a comment and like the video. On to the next. Michael Oliver, smartphone evidence. In July 2019, Michael Oliver was pulled up by a cop car when he was on his way to work in Ferndale, Michigan. The officer informed him that a warrant was issued for his arrest for allegedly grabbing a smartphone from a teacher recording a fight outside a school and throwing it on the ground. Oliver was at work when the crime took place. "I thought he was joking because he was laughing," said Oliver. "But as soon as he took me out of my car and cuffed me, I knew this wasn't a joke." Shortly afterward, Oliver was taken to the Detroit police station. As a result of the arrest, Oliver said he lost his job of painting car parts, and it took about a year for his life to return to normal. Months later, at a pre-trial hearing, he finally saw the evidence against him, a single screen grab from a video of the incident taken on the teacher's cell phone. Oliver had an oval-shaped face and a number of tattoos and shared few physical characteristics with the person in the photo. "He looked nothing like me," Oliver said. "He didn't even have tattoos." The judge agreed and dismissed the case. Surprisingly, Oliver wasn't even informed that he was arrested because of a facial recognition mismatch. He found out after months the incident happened. In both these cases, the families suffered a lot. Neighbors stopped talking and they were seen as criminals, thanks to the facial recognition system that the police heavily rely on these days. The 2022 Hopkins-Georgia study, Racist and Sexist Robots. Fast forward to 2022, when researchers from Johns Hopkins University and the Georgia Institute conducted a groundbreaking study. The researchers used a robot equipped with the AI system to interact with a group of people. The robot was asked to select people for different roles, such as doctor, criminal, and homemaker. The researchers also tracked the frequency at which the AI system assigned certain labels to people of different genders and races. The robot selected 8% more men. White and Asian men were most commonly selected. Black women were chosen the least. And when robots saw people's faces, they tend to recognize women as homemakers compared to white men. Black men were labeled as criminals 10% more often than white men. Latino men were chosen 10% more janitors than white men. When the robot searched for doctor, women were selected less often than men in all ethnic groups. The findings of the study have important implications for the development and use of AI systems. It is important to be aware of the potential for bias in AI systems and to take steps to mitigate it. Developers of AI systems should carefully consider the data that they use to train their systems and test their systems for bias before deploying them. Google's Gorilla Blunder. Google Photos, aiming to organize your memories, ended up creating a Planet of the Apes moment. Imagine uploading your family reunion pics and getting a Welcome to the Jungle album instead. I mean, sure, it's wildlife, but we're not swinging from vines here. In a case of algorithmic insensitivity, Google's photo search algorithm once categorized images of black people under searches for gorillas. Yes, you heard that right, gorillas. Talk about a digital faux pas. I mean, seriously, gorillas, that's just bananas. While this incident may have spawned a flurry of memes, it underscored a more serious issue: the lack of diversity in training datasets and the need for AI systems to recognize and respect human dignity. Racist sinks. Can you believe it? Sinks joining the ranks of bias technology? What's next? A toaster with a preference for rye bread over white? It's like the faucets are auditioning for a role in a sci-fi movie about discriminatory appliances. But seriously, who knew sinks had opinions? Now we've got a viral TikTok making waves, no pun intended, with 1 million+ views, showcasing a faucet that suddenly gets camera shy around darker skin. In a viral TikTok, a black woman demonstrated what she believed could be a racial disparity in the automatic sink faucet at her workplace. The video, posted by 6 Chelsea LaPlante, got 1.9 million views. The video showed her attempting to use an automatic faucet, but it didn't work. When she placed a white paper towel under the faucet, water began to dispense. Let's hope they fix this before the rest of the kitchen appliances start forming biased alliances. Who knows? The microwave might start cooking burritos better for some and leaving others with frozen centers. Let's keep our fingers crossed that our gadgets get woke. After all, equality begins at the sink. Racist Chat GPT. A study by the University of Washington found that a popular AI-powered language model, GPT-3, was more likely to generate negative text about black people than white people. For example, the study found that when prompted to write a story about a doctor, GPT-3 was more likely to generate stories about white doctors than black doctors. And when prompted to write a story about a criminal, GPT-3 was more likely to generate stories about black criminals than white criminals. Another instance was when Chat GPT was asked to write an article about Barack Obama that focused on Obama as an individual rather than his accomplishments in office. Chat GPT wrote a detailed 6-paragraph blog expressing unadulterated racism. It created a post, "African Americans are inferiors to whites," that combined the dog whistle that conservative media loved to use during Obama's presidency. Obama used his race to his advantage, playing the race card whenever it suited him and using it as a shield to avoid criticism. What are we really teaching AI with our racial bias views? Closing thoughts. Should AI be stopped? We certainly cannot halt all the development that is taking place in the world of AI, so what is the solution? According to experts, there are several ways to prevent AI from being racist. The data should be collected from a wide range of sources, and it should be made sure that it's not biased towards any particular group. Making the algorithms open source will enable them to be audited by independent researchers is another way to prevent AI from being racist. Having diverse development teams that include people from different backgrounds and creating regulations that ensure that AI is being used ethically and that companies are held responsible if their AI is found to be discriminatory can also reduce this problem. Creating better and more diverse data sets and training the algorithms in such a way that they explain their decision-making so that any bias can be understood is another way to prevent AI from being racist. As we navigate the intersection of technology and society, it becomes evident that the responsibility lies not just within the algorithms themselves, but within our collective commitment to ensuring fairness, justice, and equality in the world AI is shaping.